one of those things that bleed into each other, that are often seen as so similar that it's confusing to pull them apart. A summary is a restatement of the main points of something. A paraphrase is to restate in different words. Usually the quickest way to tell these apart is to look and see if the thing that is claiming to be a summary covers the entire article or the entire book, if it hits all of the main points. If it doesn't hit all of the main points, then it's definitely not a summary. Even the word summary, sum, to add up, makes sense that it's adding up all of the main points of the book or the article. And on the flip side, paraphrase is going to rephrase something that's within the article or the book. So for MLK's I Have a Dream speech, I can give you the summary, or I could rephrase part of the speech. And a lot of times it's even easier for fiction, because what we call a summary, some people call a plot synopsis, and oftentimes it's included in the jacket of the book. Meg and Charles Wallace's father, Mr. Murray, has mysteriously disappeared while experimenting with tesseracts, wrinkles that transport a person across space and time. When the children learn that Mr. Murray is being held captive on the planet Casamates, 3 otherworldly creatures named Mrs. Whatsit, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Which help them tesser there to rescue him. To save Mr. Murray, Meg, Charles Wallace, and Calvin must face Casamates' leader, It, in the ultimate battle between good and evil, a fight that threatens their lives and our entire universe. The plot synopsis doesn't give you a tiny rephrased portion of the book, it gives you the entire book. It doesn't have to go into insane amounts of detail, but it covers the main parts of the book. Now, the important thing for when you're writing research papers and you're using summary and you're using paraphrase is that you are properly attributing your sources. There's a common misconception that if you rephrase something, you don't need to say where you got that. And that's completely wrong. Paraphrasing still needs citations. It still needs you to say where you got that information from, even though you put it in your own words and even though you changed it enough that it doesn't need to be quotation marks. If the original thought is not yours, you have to cite that. It's the only way to avoid plagiarism. So when you see questions about summary and paraphrase, ask yourself a couple of questions. Ask, does this cover the entire body of the article or the book? Does this rephrase a smaller portion of it? And does that rephrasing change it enough that it's actually paraphrasing? In summary, paraphrasing and summaries are very important. Just make sure you do it properly and make sure you can tell the difference between the two.